Hiya folks, I wasn't going to do a part 5 to this, but a lot of you want to see me cut and buff the paintwork back now that it's been resprayed. I'm going to give the car a clean down as well, so keep watching. Right, well, as you know, if you've watched the first 4 parts of this video, we've taken this from a car which the insurance company wanted to take away and scrap, and we've done our repairs on it. And we wanted to see how cheap we can get the repair done. Well, as you know, we put a new bumper on it. It was a pattern part. We had to put a new fog light in the bottom of the bumper. We had to put a new water bottle in, and we had to obviously spray and colour match all the wings and do the repairs and dents on this side, which was where we had the impact. And also done a repair the other side as well, which wasn't part of the actual damage. And in total, we spent £127 to get this thing back on the road. It had to go for another MOT, so that was about 34 quid, I think, but that was on top of the price anyway. So all in all, it cost us £127 to repair this car. And you've seen the whole process from start to finish. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to buff the front of this wings up, because the paint's now dried, and I just want to get the more of a classy finish, and also the rest of the car needs a good clean as well. So I'm going to put you on time lapse for that, give it a good clean down, and then we'll cut and polish these wings and see what it looks like when it's finished. See you shortly. Okay then, so what we've got here is some 1500 wet and dry paper, and what I'm going to do is just go over these panels here just with a slight scuff up, just to make the finish matte. And then what we'll do, we'll get the old buffing machine out with some cutting compound, and then we'll cut it back and bring the shine back. So the object of this exercise is to flatten the paint off. If there's any little bits of grit in there or whatever, or little bits of flies or a little bit of orange peel or whatever, this will actually show it all up. And I'll start sanding now anyway. You can watch this and see what I do. So while I'm actually sanding this, you can probably see this white milky residue that's coming off. Well, that's the actual lacquer being cut back, so anything on the surface is getting flattened off. And if I just wipe this over there now, look, you can see when I dry it off, that's what we're left with, is a nice smooth finish there, as opposed to this little sort of mottled effect there, which you can see, which is an imperfection. These little bits there are little like bits of trash in the paintwork, so I'll just go over that for you. And keep it wet when you're doing this, as I say. You have to keep doing it. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that, do you go in a straight line or do you go around in circles? Well, I've done both ways, and to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter. Not in my opinion anyway, so if that counts for anything. So we just go over the whole area we want to, or we need to. You don't have to go over the whole car when you're doing cutting and sanding. People normally only do the sort of top panels of wings, for example. Not unless you've got sort of a show car and you want to do the whole lot. But if I just wipe this off now, look. And as you can see, I'm bringing this smooth panel and smoothness now down to there now. Look, and the little spots are virtually gone now. And lucky enough, we've got 3 coats of lacquer on here, so we're okay for sanding back. But just make sure you keep the paper nice and wet. And we put a little bit of soap in this as well, just to aid the slipperiness, so to speak. And I'll show you a little bit of a before and after in a second. And then you can judge for yourself if the paper's doing the job. So I'm using, as I said, 1500 in this case. I've used 1000 before. You can go up to 2000 if you want. Depends how bad your orange peel is. So let's have a look at that. This is now virtually smoothed out. I'm not really too worried about them. You won't even see them once it's done. So that part's done now, and that didn't take long at all. So I'm going to try and concentrate literally just on this upper line here. No need to do down here, that's not really an issue down there. So I'm just going to concentrate on there all the way along to the edge of the wing. And I'm also going to do a bit on the door, because as someone quite rightly said, I did get some overspray on the door, so it's just a matter of doing a little quick sand back like that, and then we'll buff that up in the same way. So I'm going to put you on time lapse now. I'm just going to go along, do exactly the same to this wing, the other wing, and maybe a bit on the top of the bumper and a bit on the doors, and then I'll come back to you and you can see just before I polish it. Okay then, so we've sanded that down now. I'll show you what I've done so far. I've decided not to do the bumper. I think the bumper's good enough, to be honest with you. I'm only really concerned with the top of the wings and a little bit of overspray on the door. Let's just show you the effect which we've got now. Right, well, as you can probably see there, that's the original paintwork there, which we're going to be leaving. And this is the stuff we've rubbed down, all the stuff which is above sort of that side that you can actually see when you're actually walking past the car. And as you can see now, we've taken it down to a nice smooth finish there. This is still the lacquer, we haven't burnt through at all. And there's still the odd mark in it, which I'm not really too bothered about, because when you come along to the back here where I've had the overspray on the door, I've only given this a slight rub down there, as you can see. I'm not too worried about this whatsoever, because we're just blending into the normal orange peel of the door. So as you can see, this is here as it was, and this will be absolutely fine. This is where the overspray was basically, and that's lovely and smooth now, so there's no sign of any overspray there. I've done exactly the same to the other side. Let me show you. And this is a bit more in the shade here, you probably can't see this, but it's exactly the same. Again, we've taken it up to the wheel arch line, and then a little bit into the door, which takes in obviously where that overspray was, and that's all totally smooth now, so I'm really happy with that. So all I'm going to do first of all is just polish the tops up here. I'm going to start at the top here, and I've got the big buffing wheel here, as you can probably see. But if I do need it, coming over here, I've also got this small one as well, which operates off of the compressor. So those are the two tools I've got. I've got a compound here, which Jimmy uses. It's an extreme cutting compound by Raw. I normally use the old Farkeller G3 cutting compound, but we'll see how this goes anyway. So without further ado, let's start cutting this back. Okay, so let's just give this a little bit of a buff up just to see where we are with it. And as you can see there, from this, which is all the cutting back we've done with the 1500 paper, right up to this now, as you can see, what a lovely glow that's got. You can see it sparkling in the sun there, so it don't take a lot to do, as I say, but when it's done, it really is impressive, and you ain't got to go too mad with it. And as we come back, we can see where we've not been, and then we're back to where we was. So yeah, there we go. That's how simple it is to do this. So I'm going to carry on now. I might as well put you on time lapse for this. Finish this section off, work my way through to the door, and the job's a good one. Right, okay, so let's show you now where the original paint meets the original spray job meets the polished and buff stuff. As you can see, there's not much difference, but this is a lot more finer and a lot more showy there, as you can probably see. What a lovely finish we got on that, look. But now, as you can probably see, I'll just give this a quick polish there, and that blends absolutely perfectly into our existing door. This is where we had the overspray. This is now all gone. It's all silky and smooth under my hands there, and that's just blended into the normal door. So I'm sure you can see that the finish is absolutely fantastic. Look at that, look. You can see it glistening in the sun. It's like a mirror finish. So all we've got to do now is literally go over the whole car now, give it a good clean, do the other wings like we've done this one, and then hey presto, it'll all be cleaned up. So I think you've seen now how to buff using buffing wheel. There, I've just put a bit of water on there, a little bit, only a tiny little bit, put the paste on there, and then just rub it into the wing, and on a slow speed just literally tease it backwards and forwards over the areas that you flattened off. So we've got this lovely finish now, as you can see, out of a wing that was basically flatted off like this, and that's what we're gonna polish up now on this side and get the thing cleaned up, and I'll show you the end result when it's all done. So I'll see you a little bit later on. Right, so here we are back home, everything's back to normal now, and I can give the car back to Sharon for her to use on a daily basis, no problems whatsoever. So for those of you who wondered why we bothered with this, don't forget we didn't claim on our own insurance, we claimed on the person who reversed into us. So he admitted full liability, so it was his insurance company who wanted to take our car away. And a lot of people are saying, well, why would you bother getting a repair done like this for an old car like this? Well, as I said to you, it's a low mileage car, it's only had one owner from you, a member of the family, and at the end of the day, who is a total corporate entity like an insurance company to tell us what they can do with our own personal property? They paid us our money and we bought it back off them, and we fixed it for £127. Anyway, thanks very much, I hope you've enjoyed this series of videos, and we'll see you again in the next video, and until then, bye for now.